A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
I only wish life could be as leisurely as this a little more often. How greedy of me.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
A blade embraces its duty, as a jeweler cherishes their gems.
Welcome to Palais Mermonia.
Ad Astra Abyssosk. I am sorry. Ad Astra...
I'll think about it. Exactly! But none of them believed me!
Time itself is a silence.
It's right up ahead, but let's
Let's make sure we weren't followed first.
I've been keeping watch, demoiselle. I haven't spotted anyone suspicious thus far.
Huh. Very good.
I shall find room.
Thank you, Malus. Now, let...
Whatever business you're in, you gotta keep up with the changing times.
So, this is your base? It's not quite what Paimon imagined.
Your accommodations have been arranged. Under the present circumstances, I can confidently say it's the best we have.
Well, our funds have been a little tight lately. After all, we don't allow illegal or unethical profiteering. In fact, our funds often come from citizenry who support us.
Seems like it's tough times for everyone.
To be honest, our financial situation was a lot better back when my father was in charge.
Your father... He was the previous...
Demoiselle, if you'll allow me...
No. I'll explain it myself. I suppose I couldn't run from this topic forever. And as partners, this is something I hope they can understand. My father's name is Callus. Yes, the same one they call Callus the Unfaithful. 3 years ago.
Oh no.
But I do not believe my father was a murderer at the time. But strangely, he not only requested the duel, but even after being seriously injured, to the point where he could be deemed as having lost the duel, he refused to surrender. How could he protect his honor if he's dead? The closest piece of info I have is that my father had been investigating the serial disappearances case at the time of his death.
Ah, so that's why you're so determined to get to the
That's right. However, I must know what really happened. Was my father coerced? Framed? Even if he really did kill his friend, I must get to the truth. If only he'd been more open with me when he was still alive. He even hid the fact that my mother died due to complications when... And now, here I am investigating...
Demoiselle, please.
I also will never believe that Master Callus murdered anyone. Master Callus did so much good in life, yet even our supporters decreased greatly due to that incident, hence our strained finances at present.
Wait, if Callus was such a good man, wouldn't people at least be a little suspicious when he...
No. Perhaps people just revel in that kind of drama. People love watching the evil turn over and...
But how could... never mind. If Callus was really...
There is one other thing. Master Callus's opponent in the duel was Ms. Cloran.
Oh, her? Yeah, that's not the...
Ms. Cloran has always placed great emphasis on the honorable nature of the duel. If her opponent doesn't yield, she will not stop either. She knew Master Callus beforehand and greatly respected him, but seeing there was...
Don't worry, Navia. Paimon knows how you feel. You don't have...
Afterward, Ms. Cloran told us that at the start of the duel, Master Callus requested that she ensure Demoiselle Nav... Yes, that is our understanding as well.
Oh, Papa. What madness drove you? All right. Anyway, that's the information I want. Thanks.
Yeah.
Please, relax and get some sleep.
Paimon, huh? Navia?
I sent them back to Poisson. It's Spina de Rosula's place of origin, and where we have our headquarters. There's not much for them to do here at the moment.
Paimon gets the feeling that you're just trying to get them up, but never mind that. When did you get back?
No, I just returned after going out for a while. I did some investigating yesterday regarding the name Vacher.
Wait, so you didn't sleep at all?
How could I after having such critical...
Guess Paimon wasn't speaking.
Unfortunately, this name seems to have been wiped from existence. It doesn't seem to have a match, and I suspect that those behind this have already taken steps to hinder an investigation from this angle. But that does prove...
Does that mean we're too late, though?
No. There is... And that is the archives kept by Chief Justice Neuvillette. A place where detailed files on all the cases in recent years are kept. If the OC...
So Neuvillette maintains an archive of case files? Whew. Guess that's the hard-working Chief Justice. In that case, let's go talk to him. Aren't you coming...
No, it's nothing. Let's go... The Palais is right up ahead. Come on.
Halt! Please state your business here. The Chief Justice is presently occupied with official matters.
Huh. This place does look pretty heavily guarded.
Hey, don't you recognize us?
Huh? Who are you? Just to be clear, I don't...
See? They've got great discipline, too.
Yep. Paimon can tell...
If you're here just to crack jokes, I can point you towards the exit. Unlike some, we're busy.
No. What I meant to say is, shouldn't you remember us from a few days ago? We were at the trial of the great magician Linny.
Oh, yes, I remember. I read about it in the Steambird. You must be Linny's attorneys.
We're here today to report and archive some information on a follow-up case.
Huh. Is that even a thing?
Of course. Don't worry. We're here on official business.
All right then, I'll let you through. The chief...
Ah, thanks.
Please come in.
Sorry to barge in, Monsieur Nervalette. We only lied to get in because we didn't know.
It's all right. Please let me know how I may be of assistance.
So you're not.
We're looking for a man called Vacher. He may have been an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. If we can find him, we may be able to unearth some key information on the case.
Ah, I see. In that case, please wait here a moment while I browse through the files.
Who knew that Nervalette would be so easy to talk?
Unfortunately, I'm quite certain that no one by the name of Vacher has been involved in any case. There are no records of him either in the files or in my memory.
Traveler, what if it was
Is that so? All right then. Thank you so much, Monsieur Nervalette. We'll take...
Ahem. Miss Navia, I can understand how your father, Callus, was a truly exceptional man. We deeply regret it.
And what are you trying to say? Are you trying to console me? Extend your sympathy? No. You are not trying to do any of that. I can hear it in your voice. There's no emotion behind your words. It's just like last time. After my father took his place in the duelist ring, I pushed through the guards to talk to you as a last resort. You even told me then that you thought there was something fishy with the case, yet you still allowed the duel to... In your eyes, the value of a human life is nothing. If you truly regret my father's death, then why didn't you call a stop to the... Why didn't you give me the power to stop him from throwing his life away? Everything was hanging on... There are still so many things I never got to tell him. If you really have no heart, then just look me in the eyes.
I'm sorry.
You and my father are truly alike. You keep all... It's not so much that you can't feel. Oh well. In any case, everyone already knows full well the apathy of the Chief Justice. My apologies for taking my emotions out on you, Monsieur Chief Justice. Let's go, Traveler and Paimon.
Navia?
I'm fine.
You're right. Wasn't it still sunny when we went into the building? And there shouldn't be any...
Now that I think of it, on the day my father was convicted of murder...
What is it? Did you think of something?
Yeah, he was outside. It was uncovered and the rain could fall there. Why? That thought has occurred to us before. We've even expanded the search area to try to account for that, but didn't find anything of value. Oh? Wait.
So you're saying that the true murderer could have been turned into water? And then got washed away with the... Yeah! And if that's what had happened, then no one would have believed your dad, even if he explained...
I really think I found a true genius for a partner. All right, let's go to Poisson. With this new lead in mind, we'll get to the bottom of my father's case for
Yeah, we're gonna make
Do you want to go with me now? Or do you want to head over by yourself later? Great, let's... There's no need to be so surprised. While it may, my father was the one who asked for it to be built like a gigantic and glamorous ship embodies discovery, opportunity, ambition, and conquest. It symbolizes Spina di Rosula's bright and limitless future.
And Paimon thought you were bluffing when you said Spina di Rosula. Paimon was confused, but now that Paimon has seen this ship for herself...
Well, Poisson is where Spina di Rosula began, after all. We're back!
Apologies for the... You said before that you still had...
You still remember, right, Maloose? On that...
Yes, the case was quite similar to that of Mr. Linney's. Both were what you'd call impossible murders.
Could you tell us a bit more about what...
Yeah, of course. Many years ago, something called synth began to gain... At a glance, it was a kind of drink that could excite your mood and produce many pleasant...
Wait! Didn't that guard guy who turned into water also mention that the primordial water could be...
Yes, he did. Considering what we know now, it's almost certain that synth is created using water from the primordial sea. If you drink synth for an extended amount of time, you'll suffer many side effects, such as losing... And if you were to stop drinking it completely, you'll experience flashes of paranoia and anxiety while lacking energy to do anything. It's an extremely dangerous substance. As he oversaw...
Boss's uncompromising attitude incurred the synth vendor's wrath, but no matter how much they threatened or bribed him, he refused to yield. Not only that, Boss became determined to find the mastermind behind the synth operation and put an end to the problem once and...
Yes, but the enemy was very cunning. So he could never get anything out of the dealers, all of whom only sold the stuff and weren't privy to the rest. Recognizing that, my father decided to contact the dealers in secret and cultivate personal relationships with them. Finally, the man's name was Jacques. He felt greatly ashamed about his work after seeing many families. That night, my father hosted a banquet at his countryside estate. He planned to meet up and exchange it, but then we heard 2 gunshots from the courtyard. We raced to the scene and found my father, still holding a gun, and Jacques.
Huh? How did that happen?
Sounds just like Lenny's case, doesn't it? In both cases, the culprit seemed obvious. Looking back on it, though, I now believe the most important clue was something we all overlooked at the time. There were pieces of clothing left at the scene. Precisely. But, considering it now, it's almost certain that they belong to a third person at the scene. With one extra person, we'll also need to reconsider why the 2 shots were fired. You're right. We still don't know what happened. But
Jacques was an empathetic man who was infinitely remorseful for his past actions. It's unlikely that he turned on Boss with 0 warning. I think this third person is probably... On that note, however, even though this will not please you, demoiselle, as your and your father's butler, our opponent is insidious and cruel. They are extremely difficult to deal with, and Boss has already lost his life, even though Spina de Rosula has lost most of its former glory. Poisson, there is no need to follow.
If that's indeed what he wished for, was I not the closest person to him? What was the point of him dying without sharing any of the secrets he knew? Synth is still here. Callus the Unfaithful is still his epithet. And Spina di Rosula is bare. Did he think I'd just I've never accepted that. I want to find
Navia.
This is indeed the best moment to act. Your partner appears to be quite...
So you do know something else, Malus?
Yes, I do. In fact, even before that banquet, Boss already knew of the connection between Synth and the serial disappearances case. But what drove all the tensions to the boiling point was the revelation that you, demoiselle, had been selected as the next target to disappear.
What?
Boss also didn't tell you that he had been diagnosed with a rare illness. The doctors told him, and the serial disappearances case caused him great. 5 years was nowhere near enough time to resolve this long-standing conflict. But once he passed away, all the danger would... Knowing all of this, he decided to use one final intimidation tactic before his death. He claimed to have already gotten his hands on some key incriminating evidence for the other side, and even told some members of Spina de Rosula about the details. But as long as you remained safe, he would not share the evidence with the public. If something were to happen to you, then he and all those he told would immediately expose all they knew about Synth and the disappeared victims.
Right, so nobody would be able to get off scot-free.
As we've seen, Boss's tactic has worked. Even though Boss has been gone for a long time, the other side has not tried to take Demoiselle's life.
No, I don't believe it. He never appeared.
No father wants their daughter to see them weak and haggard, especially someone as proud as Boss. To him, dying in a duel and suffering lasting dishonor as the Unfaithful...
So he chose to die in silence.
I'm afraid you're not understanding this correctly, demoiselle. What Boss wanted to hand to you was not a parasol. If Boss's spirit could hear you telling me that you want to find the answer, I'm sure he'd be extremely...
That fool. No. He might have set up everything precise. Is that the amount of confidence he had in me? And what if I was never able to make it to where... Yeah. I suppose that's true. With the way he'd set things... But thankfully, he rarely talked to me about complex matters, and thus understood little of me as a person. And... Malus, What was the key evidence that he
It's the location where synth is produced. Essentially, it's the enemy's head. When he was threatening the enemy, Boss didn't share the specifics of the incriminating evidence he found. But if you want to use it against the enemy, you'll still have to take several things into consideration.
Why? If we know where the place is, can't we just go...
You mustn't forget that we're fighting against a mysterious and dangerous organization that's been in operation for decades. There's no telling what might be lying in wait at their headquarters. We also have no idea what kind of evidence we may be able to find inside, nor what people we may be able to capture. But a single visit to their headquarters would be tantamount to a formal declaration of war. The worst case would be that we leave empty-handed, but also...
Then, in that case...
Well, you saw one of them dissolve during Mr. Linney's case. We have no idea just how thoroughly they may have been infiltrated.
Huh. That's true. But things are different.
You sound like you've put a lot of thought into...
I am the butler, after all. I live but to serve the boss, and I've always been willing to take on any kind of risk for your sake. But considering my relative lack of ability, I've spent my time keeping secrets, performing basic investigations, and waiting for the right time to come.
Thank you for all of that, Malus.
Let me think. One conclusion I came to was that the enemy must be quite familiar with Spina di Rosula, or at least have an informant planted here. When I announced orders to the organization's members on Demoiselle's behalf, I used to deliberately keep a few people in the dark and observe the reactions of the synth vendors. If the vendors didn't change their plans, then the individuals informed of our orders must be innocent. If the vendors packed up and fled, however, then someone must have given them the news. After several rounds of testing and investigative tracing, I've narrowed the suspect list down to 3 people. The first is Florent, Spina di Rosula's senior advisor.
Huh? Florent?
Yes, surprising, isn't it? He was one of the people Boss trusted the most, which also means that he was someone who understood Boss really well. Thanks to his position within Boss's innermost circle, he always knew our upcoming plans and could... There's someone else like him, too. Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrières.
Uncle Marcel.
It's a guild in Poisson. The Boss helped it to grow to its... In the beginning...
So, they're like a sister?
Yes, you can... It's a bit difficult to imagine someone using their own money to hunt down themselves.
The final suspect is Thierry, the man responsible for coordinating information between Spina di Rosula and the guards. Although the guards mostly leave us to our own devices, there are still many activities we have to report to the local authorities. Since Thierry is always in the know about our current activities, he could theoretically always plan one step ahead.
I see. These are all people who I communicate to think that the enemy...
If you want to investigate them, please take every precaution to not alert the quarry. Judging from our experience, the enemy is...
Of course.
You're too kind, my lady. And before I forget, proving Boss's innocence would also mean clearing him of blame in Jacques' death. After that incident, Jacques' wife and daughter were taken into the Spina's care. They still live in Poisson. If it might help, you could also pay them a visit. I can...
Oh, thank you so much,
A new case awaits, my dear partner. I hope we can work together.
It is settled, then.
Thank you for arranging...
Excuse me, miss. Do you need anything from...
Hey, Navia's all quiet. This isn't like her at all.
I'm sorry that I only came to visit after all this time. After what happened...
if it's about that, there's no need to apologize.
But aren't all of those things nothing compared to the loss of Jacques?
You don't understand.
I didn't know how to face you. Because I didn't know what I could possibly bring as a I know only the full truth.
I'm sorry. I appreciate the on the matter regarding my husband. My daughter and I have more or less found our
Would you mind sharing it with me? I really can't.
I always knew that my husband's money was earned through others' suffering. He told me countless times that if he could turn back the clock, he would never go into the sin. He had many regrets, and felt that he took. So when Mr. Callis came to him with a proposal, he accepted it almost immediately. He tried to be as careful as he could, but even so, he was still found out by the higher-up.
They found out about his betrayal.
Papa didn't say that exactly, but Papa did tell me that I should never be ungrateful.
Before he left that day, he told me that he had no choice. It was only later. I don't know that for sure, but you could say. Which is why I'm the one who should feel guilty. Callis had always taken great care of us, both when he was still. Even if he fired the shot that killed my husband, it was likely in self-defense. It is impossible for me to hate him for what.
But Mama, why is Papa still the bad guy if he did the right thing? Papa always wanted to be a good man.
Well, things aren't always as they seem. You still feel like your
Yeah.
Then you should hold on to that. If a good man had to do a bad thing, then he must, regardless of whether he left you a parasol or a sword. He must have done so to give you a better life.
Oh.
Thank you for everything you've told me. I will definitely find the truth.
Thank you. I'm very grateful to hear this from you. Even though your personality is quite different from your father's, your determination when you speak is really similar.
You really think so? That's the first time.
Are you okay, Navia?
I'm fine. Don't worry. Let's investigate the 3 suspects next. Laurent should be nearby, and we should be able.
Greetings, boss. How may I be of assistance today?
I'm sure you've heard about.
Yeah, I've heard. With something that dramatic, I'm sure journalists will milk it for all it's worth.
It also reminded me, on the day that the incident happened with after my partner here put the dots together for me, can you do me a favor and try to recall what happened?
Let me think. Mr. Callis was feeling pretty upbeat that day. So he was drinking and bantering away with us at the table. After that, my first reaction was that Mr. Callis's life was in danger. So I grabbed my holster and made a mad dash toward the scene. But when I got there, it was already too late. Mr. Callis was standing.
So you also remember too?
Indeed. Reason being, Mr. Callis had left his gun on the table. I even made sure to confirm that before running to the scene. But according to the guards, that doesn't mean he couldn't have had other guns on his person. About the clothes left at the scene that you mentioned. Do you think there was a...
At least from our perspective, the gun he was holding?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So you're saying Mr. Callis ended up with the gun because he seized it from one of the other guys? But hold on. If that's what had happened, then why didn't he share the truth with any of us? He didn't even want to face the Oratrice machine, and chose instead to prove his honor in a duel. Did he lose all faith in the...
About that, Malouse told me a thing or two. So, I'll tell you everything, once the whole...
I understand. And if I may just say one more thing. The whole Callis the Unfaithful epithet has been a thorn in my side since the day it was invented. Many people have laughed at me for still calling him Mr. Callis. But it was Mr. no matter what other...
Don't worry. You and all our other... Hey, Thierry! It's...
Oh, now.
Oh, so you've...
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm also a member of the guards, you know. The way you make it sound, people would think I was sent off to Poisson because I had done something wrong.
Are you sure there isn't a little bit of truth in that? Under normal circumstances, shouldn't you have been called back to the city already?
I mean, where I work is really up to me. Let's just say I enjoy the ambiance of Poisson. Callis did a fantastic job running the town, building Spina di Rosula from the ground up and clearing many obstructions. It would be next to impossible for me to... Anyway, enough.
Yes. These two are my partners. What happened at the Opera House?
If you want to go through the original...
That'd be much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, I have another question. Do you have the authority to dispatch Gardamex?
Of course. Without them, I couldn't possibly handle Poisson on my own. Why do you ask?
Well, you see, just recently, so... if you, hypothetically, wanted to do something against me...
Then you think too highly of my abilities. Dispatching mecha is very different from controlling them. If I had to make an analogy, when you order a dish, the chef will make it for you. You can ask the chef to cook, but not to If you try to make unreasonable demands, the chef would just think you're out of... Removing a serial number is also not as easy as you might think. There are a lot of complex steps to it. And so I can promise you, those mecha were definitely private units. They're certainly not cheap. So, whoever their owner is must be super rich, powerful, or both. Now that you mention it, though, being in the synth business would definitely be profitable enough to afford this.
Oh, then you're officially in the clear, Thierry.
Oh, well, thank you. Jokes aside, I'd like to wish you all the best with your... I'll be staying in the city for a little while, so just come find...
Hello. How may I help you? I'm here to see Marcel. Could you please let... Sure. I will let...
Navia, hello. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm not as young as I used to be, so my legs are giving out a bit.
Oh, it's all right, Uncle Mark. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about what...
Yes, I've never seen anything so...
Oh! You were at the Opera House.
That's right. I went there with I also witnessed your marvelous sleuthing work. Quite impressive. To beat the Hydro Archon at her own game on her own turf, I can already imagine everyone in Fontaine discussing your exploits over a few glasses of wine.
Oh, Paimon doesn't want to become the talk...
Apologies. It's just how Fontaine is as a nation. Everyone loves drama and theatrics.
Uncle Marcel...
Yes.
Exactly.
Oh, and...
We were attacked on Araneus by some unnumbered Gardamex. And there was also... If not for the vigilance of my partner...
Oh, you're giving us...
Alas. But rest assured, Navi, if anyone dares to lay their hands on you there...
Thank you, Uncle Marcel. But I don't intend to go into hiding. Do you have any new thoughts on...
About that. Sorry. My age is catching up with me. The Confrérie was responsible for that banquet. So then I heard the sound of a gunshot, and the rest.
Oh, it's okay.
Sounds good. Just let all my wealth comes from Callus's patronage and support. I'll spend however much it takes to clear his name.
We've talked to all 3 suspects, purely based on their conversations with me.
None of them sounded particularly suspicious.
I suppose that's to be expected, though. If a single conversation's all that's needed to find them out, then my father wouldn't have needed to investigate the case for so many years. Anyway, even though we didn't make a breakthrough, let's still compile what we were able to find.
But where should we start? Ah, you're right! Flora mentioned that.
According to Jacques' family members, he already told them that he had been discovered, and that he had no choice. If I had to guess, he probably received an order from the synth boss to kill my father. Had he refused, he and his family's lives...
So, Jacques fired the first shot?
Oh? And why is that?
Ooh, that's a good point. Jacques probably already knew that he was just being used as a tool for murder. And once he had completed his mission, he'd be of no more use to his boss.
Huh. So, what would make more sense from his perspective would be to turn his back on the Order and seek protection from my father. Makes sense. But besides Jacques, the attack from the Gardamex has been bothering me quite a bit. It's obvious that our enemy has become more antsy after the secret of the...
Do you think he knew, even then, that we'd fall...
Given everything that's happened since, it's quite possible. But who among the 3 suspects would have the ability to control privately owned Gardamex? Uncle Marcel? And with funds from the Confrérie, he could also afford... Still really hard from... Also, wouldn't this mean he has been spending a whole lot of mora and energy to fight his... Florent? But...
So you're saying he's too broke?
Exactly. He can't. And even if he could, I don't think he would... Thierry, you say? But... I didn't feel like you...
Yeah, if the mecha were...
Who could it be? You know, if you think everything through, Uncle Marcel is indeed the most...
Could we be missing other...
Malus has always been very reliable, and his judgment of others' trustworthiness has been fair and well considered. When he laid out his case for the 3, the rationale he gave me made a lot of sense as well. The suspect is knowledgeable about the Spina's internal affairs, has the means to dispatch Mecha to assassinate us. And even if I don't want to believe it, I'm starting to see how things could all tie back to Uncle Marcel.
Well, we still have another trump card on top of all the theorizing and speculating.
Yes. Malus did say that charging straight in there would be extremely risky. We need far more—
Navia, here you are. Oh, I've been—
Huh? Aren't you the guy from the guards? Did something happen?
Yeah. News came from Irenaeus just after you left. We've got another trial on our hands.
Wasn't that place built specifically for holding trials? What's so newsworthy about this one?
I know. But they said the person they're putting on trial is a Fatui harbinger called Tartaglia.
What? Is that—
Yeah, we know him.
Well, he's been accused of being the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. It's absurd, don't you think?
Wait, how? None of our—
That's what I thought was strange about it, so I came to tell you the news. If the charge against him stands, then it'll be next to impossible to get the guards to support any of our planned investigations.
Right, because they'll think they've already found the culprit.
Yeah, and it'll be a lot harder then to clear Mr. Callus's—
I understand. Well, partner? Huh? Split up? What do you mean? Just since this is a trial— You're right. I won't have any chance of making that charge stick, though, unless we find more evidence. It'll be up—
We'll help you!
Demoiselle, please allow us to accompany you.
I'm ready.
Ah, Malus, Silver.
We heard that you'll be leaving Poisson and figured that you might require— It's our hope that your confidence will be bolstered with—
See you then! Now that Navia has set out for Irenaeus, we should also get going. The location has already been marked on the map, so let's head over. According to Malus's info, the synth production base is underwater. Let's go and try to find the entrance. Finally found it! Huh. So this is the entrance that leads to the synth you're right. Navia's probably...
It would appear that I must repeat my question again. Do you accept the charge that you are the true culprit behind—
To be perfectly honest, I don't understand your country's complicated court system, or the reason why I'm being charged with something I've never even heard of. However, I did hear that people who have been charged can choose to participate in a duel to clear their name. Is that right? In which case, as long as I accept the charge, I can have an all-out fight with that champion duelist Clorend, right? I've got to admit, that's one of the most enticing— When I privately sparred with her last time, she was obviously holding back.
Hey! Don't you understand? You're currently the prime suspect.
Oh? Sounds like the Hydro Archon wants to lecture me on the ways of... Then why don't you duel me too? I'm the kind of student that learns best in the heat of battle.
Alas, it would appear that communication with the defendant is going poorly. In that case, let me explain everything from the very beginning again. The goal of this trial is to determine the...
That case had nothing to do with him! You've got the... Huh? What's going...
Why is she...
I told you it couldn't be one of the
Miss Navia, this is the second time you've interrupted the court proceedings. I only tolerate... But that was an exception rather than standard court protocol. I can very well charge you with contempt of court for your
Oh, please. Did you... We can put that discussion aside for now. I'm not here to argue with you. I'm here to charge the true culprit behind the serial disappearances case. And if my charges prove true, then Tartaglia here will be proven innocent by default. Correct?
Oh, a young lady has charged in and offered to clear my name. How fascinating. Well, So, Your Honor, is there nothing else for me to do now?
You may take a seat for now in the audience, but that doesn't mean the suspicions against you have been lifted. Now then, Miss Navia, who...
That person is... Marcel, the head of Confrérie of Cabrier...
Huh? What Confrérie?
I've heard of them, but weren't they Spina di Rosula's sister?
Oh, is this going to be a friends to enemies type situation?
Please let me remind you, Miss Navia, that charging someone is an incredibly serious matter. Committing, and if the charge fails, depending on the circumstances, you may also be charged with the crime of making a false accusation. Knowing this, do you still wish to charge?
Yes.
In that case, I declare the charge to be valid. Miss Navia and attorneys, please take your place at members of the guards. Please contact Mr. Marcel right away so that... Mr. Marcel, you will not...
Apologies. It all just happened so quickly. I think an attorney won't be necessary. This is probably just a misunderstanding.
Very well. In that case, since both sides have now arrived...
I would like to take everyone back to 3 years ago. To the... Only through elucidating what really happened in that case can we...
Navia, do you really think... Come on. What? If that's enough to make me a suspect, wouldn't that make everyone at that...
I think there's no point in getting into the specifics right now.
The audience doesn't even have the big... Exactly correct, Your Honor. I must refresh everyone's memory about that case before I can explain my charge and reasoning.
I see. In which case, I will recount the findings about that case as originally recorded by Maison Gardiennage. On the day of the murder, Spina di Rosula hosted a large banquet in a countryside estate owned by the Confrérie of Cabrières. During the banquet, all attending guests heard 2 gunshots from... When the guests arrived at the scene, they found the primary suspect. The guard's investigation did not recover any other firearm. The suspect did not dispute this conclusion, and also declined to defend himself in court. Callus was defeated by champion duelist Clarand in the These are the known facts about the...
The one with the motive to kill was Jacques, not my father. And even so, Jacques still had no reason to pull the trigger. After that, Thank you for the summary, Your Honor. However, we should revisit the case now that we've gained new information about the abilities of water from the primordial sea. This assassin first shot Jacques, then turned to shoot Callus, only for Callus to wrestle the gun from him and kill him instead. Was found at the scene. The guards once believed they were used by Jacques, but now it is clear that the clothes were proof that there was a third person at the scene, and that they were turned into water after Since it was raining that day, the culprit was confident that they could use the rain to wash away all traces of their... The testimony of the victim's family confirms that Jacques had thoughts of assassinating Callus when he set out for the banquet. However, in the end he reconsidered, and instead shared everything with Callus. Unfortunately, realizing this, the true culprit caused the hired assassin to dissolve into water, leading everyone to believe Callus was responsible for Jacques' murder. This...
That's what happened. Wait, you're telling me something as dangerous as water from the
What a great theory. It also explains Callus's and Jacques' respective motives. I guess they didn't shoot each...
Mr. Marcel, you are the one being charged with the crime. You should provide a rebuttal if you wish to prove your...
But I think I agree with everything Navia just said. In fact, there was nothing in her speech that directly implicated me.
Then, may I ask some questions? In my opinion, we primarily need to determine 1. Do you have the evidence to back up?
I'm afraid not. Boo! I may not have the evidence with me, but I know where I could go to collect it. If we look up the deserted clothes against a record of people who went missing around the same time, we should be able to find a match. Considering the serial disappearances case, the guards probably kept careful records of all missing persons from around that time, regardless of age or gender.
That makes sense to me. Monsieur Neuvillette, I would consider this to be a reasonable investigative direction.
Why do I feel like Farina's acting a little differently?
Maybe she's scared of embarrassing herself?
Alternatively, she's become more diligent after charging an innocent citizen in the last trial.
My second question has to do with the ensuing duel. If the truth is indeed out, then why didn't Mr. Callis explain himself in court? If he had testified that
I've thought about this too, and the answer is actually pretty simple. He felt there were things that were more important to him. The dissolving power of water from the primordial sea is an important secret for the true culprit of the serial disappearances case. My father could have exposed it for all to see, but he chose to take it to the grave. At that time, Spina di Rosula was in dire straits, and his reputation had already been shattered. He had no guarantee that going forward with the truth would allow the culprit. What was certain, however, was that it would paint a gigantic target on my back.
Boss once told me that Demoiselle had already been selected as the next target of the serial disappearances case.
What?
If the secret had gotten out, the culprit would have... Of course, the guards might eventually figure out the truth of the matter and determine that we were in the right, but what good would that do? How can had this opera house ever given my father any kind of confidence in its brand of justice? But by staying silent, I was able to become Spina di Rosula's president, which made me harder to target, as well as giving me more time to grow and learn. And once I have figured out the truth and stepped up to the challenge, I will do what they...
So, you mean to say... your father intended to die in the duelist's...
That's right.
Do you have any proof?
Of course. All you need is to ask his opponent, Clorand. I don't need your apology, but since he entrusted his will to you, Clorand, you should
so... during the duel, did you...
Yes, I did. As a champion duelist, I've fought many battles and taken a countless number of in my line of work. I've seen all kinds of people. Just one look and I can tell if a duelist is hoping to live or if they're looking to die. I hereby swear on my name and honor as a champion duelist that Mr. Callis never intended to leave.
Since that's your testimony, I have no more questions. It appears there really are good grounds to reopen this case.
I concur. However, Miss Navia, you still have not explained the link between your father's case and the serial disappearances case.
Right? What she said was fascinating.
Wait, weren't they just talking about the serial?
Of course, Your Honor. The two cases are connected via a map. In my father's case, the culprit intended to kill both Jacques and Callis. As a result, they planned to act after hearing 2 gunshots. And at the end of Linny's trial, the culprit also only dissolved the victim in front of everyone because they realized they were at risk of being identified. The culprit could only time their actions so precisely if they were already at the scene. Coincidentally, Marcel attended both the banquet and the trial.
So that's why you suspected me. Even after hearing your reasoning, I still can't help but find it... I'm used to it, though. You've always been an impulsive and sentimental child.
No need to appeal.
I won't try to refute your points one by one, but even if everything you just said was true, can you prove that I was the only person present at both events? On top of that, does a person have to be physically present to control the timing? Can't someone remotely monitor the place?
Don't know what she can say to that.
I know that even with that, alas, who won't feel at least a little hurt by an accusation? But if I were to dismiss this completely, you'd also think I'm not being considerate of your feelings. Do you know what the biggest flaw in your reasoning is?
I suppose you're gonna tell me and...
It's timing again. I'm a businessman by trade. From that standpoint, there's no reason for me to kidnap young women. It's a high-risk action with nothing to... In addition, I left my home in Snezhnaya when I was young to come to Poisson and work in some trade. My business only thrived when I received Callis's patronage. But the disappearances began before I ever stepped foot in Fontaine.
I do apologize, Demoiselle. This was...
No.
Is there anything else? You can also take a look at my border entry records, or ask my friends and family when I left Snezhnaya for the first time. Could those records and testimonies do something to appease the...
Seems like she got the wrong... At this rate, Navia...
I think you've done us a... But aren't you going against... He wished for you to become... Once you've learned to be more considerate of others' feelings, and to stop rushing headlong...
This isn't just about me. The biggest difference between me and the people whose families were destroyed, many people's and whose image do you see? Is it a man named Vache?
Huh.
Oh, so you do know that name.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Bro!
Take flight!
Kami-sato out! Sumetsu!
There is no escape! Now you shall perish! Illusion shattered!
My apologies!
The floor is going up! Is it because of this mechanism in the middle? That guy really prepared a lot of stuff for this place. We need to go up, but Paimon doesn't see a way. Let's take a look around. Maybe we'll find a hidden mechanism that'll show us the way up. The water level is rising! Now we can swim to the top! But this is still a ways away from where we need to go.
Inazuma shines eternal! Shine down!
My apologies!
Illusion shattered!
Now the path is clear! Let's go!
Sakura swirl! Shine down! Wipe out! Whirling... Inazuma shines eternal!
Take flight! I will not stand for this!
Illusion shattered! Now you shall perish!
Yeah! After all that, we finally made it, though, as expected. The mastermind isn't... That's right. Then let's hurry up and find some... What's all this? Pink accessories, a hair tie, a necklace, even a makeup box. Oh, Paimon sees it too, but... Why are all these... Huh? You mean the girls from the cereal disappeared, and then they were turned into... And all the boxes of things! These names... Whoa! There's so much synth here! And so many bottles of ingredients that probably just contain... Mixing and prep. Whoa! There's even fruit-flavored synth? Yep! What's this over here? Looks like some kind of experiment number... 16. The experiment was a failure. No individual managed to resurface from the water from the primordial sea. Female specimens... Sorry, Traveler. Paimon will try her best. How can someone write something that terrible and you read the rest? Paimon's too scared to keep going. That's why he did it. But did he really think he'd be able to find a way just by dissolving people over and over? That's just insane! Huh? Isn't that the name you heard by the fountain? Paimon thought he was an eyewitness in the serial disappearances case. Ah, you mean Vacher is the one who did all of these... so that's it? No, that's not it either. If that's the case, why would he want people to resurface from the water? In any case... Let's see what's written. Callus. Navia's father. Oh, this seems to be an investigation. Yep, it's about this should prove the existence of the third person, right? We still have not determined the exact content of the key. The old dog's a real menace to deal with. Even if he abides by, he can act whenever he wants to make our lives. I concur. Let's send someone to kill him. He won't declare war as long as we don't... Oh, seems like we've got a bunch of correspondence between the higher-ups. Oh, look! There's an important-looking basin over here, and it's full of water. That means this is where they make all this... If you dilute it with Paimon will take no... We've looked at almost everything here, and it seems like our theories were... Yeah, we haven't found anything that... No wonder even Nervalette wasn't able to... That way, even if we bring all this back to the opera, we won't be able to identify the truth. Sure thing. Nothing at all! And Paimon can't even find snacks either! Whoa, really? Let Paimon see! Vinier. Isn't that Vacher's lover's name? Then you found her diary. Aw, it's just so many! A whole page's worth! But the final name she Marcel! Wait, but Marcel's pretty old. Has this case been going on for so long that he's Vacher and Vinier's grown son?
And whose image do you see? Is it a man named... Oh.
I'm merely surprised you'd suddenly say the name of someone I've never even heard of.
I was waiting.
Navia! We're back!
As expected of my partner.
Just how often do you intend to...
It's all right, Monsieur Nervalette. Given their confidence, I expect they've found the... But the truth of it, Marcel, is that you've always been Vacher.
Huh?
investigated your lair, and we already know After your lover, Vignier, was dissolved, you kept abducting young women to experiment on the hopes of bringing her back to you. You even created Marcel as a new identity.
So that's it. Even the villains and with that, Marcel's motive has now been established.
This information regarding your past also dismantles your prior timing defense. Well, Marcel, you fixated your gaze on the lover that passed away. Instead of paying, so you never noticed how we changed.
You also never understood Boss's real expectations for it.
Or our determination to see things.
Your determination.
Mr. Marcel, please speak up now if you would like to defend yourself. Otherwise.
Do you really think I wanted to pay attention to you? What for? Have you ever paid attention to me? Ever empathized with my pain? Ever known how it feels to watch the love of your life dissolve right in front of your eyes? No one helped me. No one even believed me. All those decades ago, even the officers, they said there's no way a human being can turn into water. So I must have gone mad from grief. Vignier's death was brushed away by all. Well, now you know, don't you? Ha! Well, it's too late now. All those who were dissolved are gone forever. You only have yourselves to blame. You set up this ornate opera house in pursuit of your so-called justice, your beloved drama, while turning a blind. Vignier is dead. We promised each other that we would always be together. Wherever she... But I'm not from this blasted place. So I can't be dissolved. No matter what I do.
Hey, is that water from the primordial sea that he's drinking?
I can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Can't dissolve! Do you all see? I can't go! I can't follow! So if I can't go where she is, what choice do I have but to try? I did all of that, and in the end, that accursed Callus still got the better of me. I spent my entire life living on pins and needles, only to get stabbed by his idiot daughter at the very end.
The suspect is exhibiting signs of mental distress. Guards, please restrain.
Don't touch me! Don't anybody come near me! I still need to save Vignier. I promise. Vignier, please, Vignier. Don't think badly of me. All I want to...
At this point, the verdict of this trial is clear. With Mr. Marcel's conviction, the charges against Mr. Tartaglia no longer have any basis.
Fine by me. I was in a bad mood, but after a show like that, I'm actually...
Traveler, please submit all the evidence you have collected to the guards, so that I might review and summarize the truth behind the serial disappearance. The man now known as Marcel was originally named Vacher and worked as an adventurer with his partner and lover Vignier. During an underwater expedition, Vignier accidentally came into contact with water from the primordial sea and was dissolved in front of Vacher as a result. Vacher learned of the primordial water's existence through the work of others and began to kidnap young women for research, with the goal of discovering a method to restore Vignier back to life. To cover his tracks, he invented the new alias of Marcel and began to operate a business in Poisson. During the course of his research, Vacher discovered that a diluted concoction of water from the primordial sea can induce feelings of euphoria and began to manufacture and market synth. However, as he accumulated wealth to fund his continued research and expanded the scope, he came into conflict with Spina di Rosula. After exchanging blows with Spina di Rosula for many years, Vacher decided to assassinate their president Callus at a banquet. Although the assassination did not go as Vacher expected, he was able to turn Callus into the murder suspect by dissolving the assassin he sent to the scene. And just recently, however, his attempt to frame Linny failed, and the power of water from the primordial sea became public knowledge. This case also exposed enough of Vacher's machinations that he was eventually successfully... Thus concludes the enigmatic history of the serial disappearances case. The oratrice will now deliver the final verdict. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Mr. Vacher guilty.
Guards! Take Vacher away.
Good. It's what he...
With that, the serial disappeared.
We really just witnessed history.
Yippee! We have not... He's hurt so many innocent... Huh? Are you okay?
Demoiselle, you were absolute.
The day our late boss had...
Yeah. See, Papa?
Well now, hasn't this been a most delicious piece of drama? The villain has been caught, justice has been served. Since it's been such a great show, I'll just let the false accusations against me slide. Either way, I've still got some business to attend to.
Please wait just one moment, Mr. Tartaglia.
Ugh, what now? None of the—
According to court protocol, since this trial was initiated due to a charge against you, a verdict must also be made regarding the initial charge before the trial can conclude.
Oh, come on. Is this really necessary? Haven't you already caught the real criminal? Isn't it time—
Please respect the laws of Fontaine. This is all—
All right, but this sure is a lot of hassle. All I need to do is stand over there, right? Let's just get—
Through evidence presented in the public, the guilty party has been identified, and thus it is logic we now turn— According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse, guilty.
What?
Hey! That's not fun. What's with this verdict? Is your—
Huh? This has never happened before. The Oratrice—
I mean, have you ever heard of an innocent Fatui Harbinger? Do you think—
But weren't the charges about the serial disappearances case? No matter what else he's guilty of, it shouldn't affect the verdict in this case, right?
The judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale is, by law, the final verdict of the court. We must accept the guilt. Guards, please take the—
So this is how justice is done in Fontaine. What a joke. You've got your rules. Well, I've got mine too!
I am sorry. If you have been wronged, we will find the truth. But the rules of the court must be upheld.
Hey, Monsieur Nouvelette, what's going on?
Apologies. This is also the first time I've encountered such a situation. However, according to the rules established at the conception of Fontaine's court system, all I do is follow court procedure. As for why the Oratrice arrived at the conclusion it did, you should probably ask someone more knowledgeable than me.
I don't know what happened there.
What does Lady Farina mean by that?
She says she has no idea either, but that's—
Yeah, so are the verdicts—
My dearest citizens, did you really think we'd allow— Don't tell me. You thought—
But the way she looked just now, it was pretty obvious she had—
However, given the state of things, I shall give you an explanation. Everything that just took place. And, of course, for every performance, there is a script. Everything— If you thought Child had nothing to do with the serial disappearances, everything he's done. Not to mention that all shall— Now, having said that—
So she chose to make her escape after all, did she?
So you're saying we shouldn't put much stock into what she...
She probably just put on that performance to save face. As for the truth, it's unlikely that she actually has any idea. However, please be assured that I will continue to investigate this case in a personal capacity. Just as I promised, if the judgment has been incorrect, we will do our utmost to clear his name.
All right. After all, he's done plenty of bad stuff. So he should have known he'd go to prison someday, right?
Hey, what are you doing? Quick, stop him!
Traveler! Hey! Traveler!
Marcel! What are you...
Stop resisting arrest!
No, wait! I just want to ask the Traveler something. I'm not looking to run away. Please, just let me ask this one small thing.
Go on.
Thank you. I was being led away when I finally realized something. Where did you first hear the name Vacher? I erased all records of that name. So...
Are you still trying to prove your innocence? Give it up. You've already been convicted.
Really? You did? You're sure? You met her? But how could that be? How did you manage to do it? The Fountain of Lucine? Then she... Please give me a chance to talk to her again.
What? Give an inch and you...
Paimon agrees! Why should we give him what he wants when he's only done a ton of...
This request, is it worth as much to you as your life?
Of course! Wait...
Humans, will they betray the instinct to live just to satisfy spiritual needs? Very well. I will...
Your Honor...
I will go with him. You do not need to worry about any escape.
In that...
Thank you. Is this the place? You said she's here, but what do I need to do to see her?
Yeah, and even Paimon could hear her after drinking that thing.
Vacher!
Ah!
Yes, that's it! So you...
Vignier, it's me! It's me, Vacher!
Vacher?
I'm here! Where are you, Vignier? I'm coming for you.
Hey, wait!
Vignier, is that you? It's me, Vacher!
Vacher? Why did you come? Didn't I say? You don't need to look for me. You...
It's been more than 20 years. I've suffered for over all this time. Only the thought of bringing you back has kept me alive. I must be dreaming. Who would have thought? Vignier, you are my everything. I really don't know how I could...
But Vacher, if you ask me, this world would be better off without you. If not for you, I would have finished my law degree and probably become a top-tier attorney one day. If not for you, I would have continued to pursue. If not for you, I would at least have been able to take care of my mother. And she would not have grown old and died alone, with nothing but the tears on her cheeks. It's all because of your selfishness.
Wait, you are...
You're right. I am not Vignier. Every woman who died by your hand, as our bodies dissolved, our consciousnesses flowed back, our thoughts circulated endlessly within the primordial sea, and we were no longer individuals. But we became one, just as streams of water come together. I'm Cressy. I'm Lemonade. I'm Azine. The only one I am not.
Why? But then... Where has been?
She doesn't want to see you anymore. Every tendril of her consciousness is avoiding you. This is what you get for your selfishness. But did you ever consider whether she'd want to see you do the things that you did? If she would You are a liar. A heartless murderer. The only thing you are not. From the moment you're first...
No!
You still don't understand. When I said don't look for me, that came from the real Vignier. She really doesn't want to see you anymore. But on top of that, she also said that because it's her final drop. She said that because she knew that if you did come here, we will show no mercy to you.
Vache.
Vache? Vache. 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 Drown.
Finally, we have some time to do shopping. Gosh, it's really been a long time.
Huh. Well met, partner. I knew something.
Even this weather can't put a damp.
It's a pleasure to see you both again.
Oh, hey, now.
Oh, now that I believe. I'm easy to... It's everyone from Spina di Rosula organized this time, though. Everyone in Puss...
So his name...
It's been the dearest wish of...
Oh, by the way, I ran into Charlotte just after I left the memorial service. Well, maybe it'd be more accurate to say I knew she would be there, and there was no...
Huh? So you know Charlotte too?
Yeah. Wait, I believe the story was called The Truth. To be fair, though, she was trying to lean on...
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, I told her to make sure that when she ran...
Now that's another thing.
Oh, and in other news, I also took Clarande out for a meal.
Oh, are you two...
While you were in... It was thanks to her that we were able to turn the tide. I wanted to thank her.
Oh, that's...
Anyway, now... Oh, actually...
What is it?
I should pay a visit to my father's grave. And on top of that...
Miss Navia.
Indeed.
We want to...
Sure thing. I'd like you two to...
And in that case, everyone, let's...
Yeah. Huh. This is where my father's grave...
Huh? There's someone there?
Hmm?
Isn't that Nervalette? Why would the Chief Justice be here? Huh? Navia?
My apologies. I should have asked before coming to...
Don't...
Sorry about that.
Oh, I was trying... I wanted to show my father how much I've grown. But still, I doubt I've grown to the point that even...
In that case...
You really could use some pointers on understanding human emotions, Monsieur Nervalette. In any case... Oh.
Well, ever since that day, I've been turning a question over and over in my head. Just what is justice? There was once a time when I didn't want to believe that there could be anything... Oh, rather... Which is also why I believed that a truly innocent man would never throw away his life like that. That there was nothing. But Mr. Callis proved me utterly. If not for his... Mr. Callis made the choice he did for his daughter. And in the end, a justice that's higher than... So, you asked me why I came here. I just wanted to say my apologies to Mr. Callis in person. I should have noticed all of this much. This regret has filled me with a sadness that has haunted me for that high and mighty chair in the opera Epiclese indeed insulates one from many important things. Spina di Rosula, thank you so much for...
So, you're actually one of those types that's cold on the outside, but pretty thoughtful on the inside, huh?
Sorry about that. Self-express...
Didn't I just say you don't need...
Ah, so Navia made their Let's not disturb them for now. Paimon's never paid Huh? Oh no. Paimon. Anyway, Nervalette is still standing around there. It's not often that we can catch him alone like this, so...
Oh, it's you two.
We ran into Navi on the streets today, so we just followed her here.
I see, I see.
Well, it's pretty hard to run into you like this, since you're usually super busy. So we figured...
Please feel free. Though outsiders, you helped us solve one of the greatest mysteries in Fontaine, and it would be my pleasure.
So...
Truthfully, that name is already quite accurate. I can only surmise that Vacher and his ilk only learned of its nature and existence. There used to be a special sea on the surface of this planet. The nature of its seawater was most of Tevat's life.
So it really was where...
But today, the primordial sea no longer exists on the planet's surface. What Vacher discovered must have been some kind of special case, or a... Indeed. Why would the primordial sea... To be frank, that all... Is there anything else you... That the sea levels... Does that appropriately summarize the version?
That's right!
Yes, up to the present, I think we reached a point where we have no choice but to confront this prophecy direct. Rumors have it that...
A prophecy?
Two parts of the prophecy... Speaking of the prophecy, Farina has also always taken it quite seriously. If the rumors were true, then perhaps this prophecy is the
But with Farina being the way she is...
Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? My apologies. My investigation has still not reached. However, I still believe the judgment of the Oratrice was not rendered arbitrarily.
But you...
For many years, I have been quite aware that the Oratrice does not simply mechanically repeat the verdict that I give on each case. As a divinely created mechanism, the people's unified faith in the concept of justice is integrated into it. Not only can it produce the incredible power of indemnitium, but it likely also possesses other traits, such as self-awareness. Which is all to say, I've been prepared for a situation like...
So when Lenny told us that he heard a human voice from the room where...
I was not aware such a thing had occurred. Perhaps that could serve to prove my conjecture. I will add that to the list of items to invest. In any case, I am inclined to believe that the Oratrice does have a methodology all its own. We just do not have enough information. Based on Farina's reaction, I doubt even she had any idea what was going on. She managed to bluff her way through it, though. While we do intend to get to the bottom of this, for now, we regret to say that the Fatui Harbinger will just have to bide his time in the fortress of Meripede. If we did incorrectly convict him of crimes he did not commit, we will most certainly compensate him to the fullest extent allowed by the law.
If you ask Paimon, the only compensation he'll want is a no-holds-barred fight with you.
Is there anything else? Your sibling, another blonde-haired traveler. If he ever stepped foot in Fontaine, I'm sure he followed our laws to the letter and had no reason to appear on the stage of the opera. Is there anything else you'd like to ask me about? Very well. It will soon be time for me to leave this.
You really are...
Crime and villainy do not have the day off, and so...
All right, Tom. Huh? Paimon just noticed that the rain has stopped.
You